Have you ever really stopped to think about the sheer scale of humanity's impact? I mean, the geological scale. We often see ourselves as just, living on the planet, maybe affecting things locally. But what if our actions are actually changing the whole course of life on Earth, reshaping it like an asteroid or something? Today, we're doing a deep dive into Elizabeth Kolbert's Pulitzer Prize-winning book, The Sixth Extinction, Humanity's Impact on Earth. And this isn't just, any book. It lays out this really compelling, maybe unsettling case that we are living through a mass extinction event right now. And crucially, it's one we seem to have authored.
That's exactly right. Kolbert's central idea, the real anchor here, is that Earth is going through its sixth mass extinction. But the critical difference this time, what makes it totally distinct from the previous five, it's us. Human activity is the main driver. It really shifts how we have to think about our place in the planet's long history.
And that distinction is absolutely fundamental, isn't it? So our mission for this deep dive is to pull out the core insights from Kolbert's work, understand the science, the history she lays out, and really explore what this means for all of us. Okay, let's unpack this. Let's explore our role in the grand story of life. So to really get the sixth extinction, maybe we should touch on the baseline first. Earth's history is full of dramatic changes. What are mass extinctions generally? How does Kolbert, set that stage?
Yeah, she does a great job setting that historical scene. It's like digging back through Earth's layers. She talks about the previous five big extinction events, painting this picture of a planet that's seen life reshuffled massively over billions of years. Think about the dinosaurs vanishing pretty suddenly 66 million years ago, probably that asteroid impact. Or more recently, you had the Ice Age megafauna, the mammoths, the saber-toothed cats. They disappeared around 12,000 years ago. Big climate shifts then. These were times when huge natural forces, disasters, climate swings, cosmic events just completely remade ecosystems, wiped out loads of species. It shows extinction is, a natural part of Earth's deep history. Even if it's brutal, it shapes life. She walks us through this not just as history, but to show the scale of change Earth can undergo, even without us.
Right, and that's where it gets really interesting, because the whole point here is that this time it isn't a meteor or volcanoes as the main cause, it's us. That just completely changes the frame.
Exactly. That's Kolbert's key transition. She moves from these ancient natural disasters right into the present day, and she shows with a lot of evidence that the current wave of species loss, the one happening right now, is overwhelmingly driven by humans. And what's really alarming, what she really hammers home with her research, is the speed. It's happening at an unprecedented rate. We're talking species disappearing, like thousands of times faster than the normal background rate. That's the core claim. Humans have kicked off the sixth great extinction event.
Oh, that's quite something to absorb. So if we're the main driver, how does Kolbert break down the specific things we're doing? What are the human activities pushing species over the edge? What are the culprits she points to?
Well, she outlines several major interconnected drivers. A huge one is deforestation, especially in places like tropical rainforests, which are packed with biodiversity. When forests are cleared for farms or logging or cities, you're not just cutting trees, you're destroying whole habitats, food sources, everything. Then there's ocean acidification. This is sort of a silent threat. The oceans absorb excess CO2, become more acidic, and this literally dissolves the shells or skeletons of things like corals, oysters, even tiny snails at the bottom of the food web. It undermines the whole marine system.
It's like the ocean structure is weakening from the inside out. That's a good way to put it. And then, of course, there's global warming. That's reshaping climate so fast, many species just can't keep up. It forces them to move, messes up breeding cycles, pushes ecosystems past their limits. Add to that just general habitat destruction and fragmentation, breaking natural areas into smaller, isolated pieces, makes populations vulnerable. And finally, something often overlooked, the spread of invasive species. Humans move species all around the globe, intentionally or not. These newcomers often outcompete or kill off native species that have no defenses against them. It throws everything off balance. Kolbert shows these aren't separate issues. They're like a combined assault on biodiversity.
You mentioned her reporting is very vivid. She goes to these places, right? Can you give us some examples, the real-world stories that make this abstract idea feel, real?
Oh, absolutely. That's what makes the book so powerful. She takes you there. For instance, she writes about the terrifying decline of amphibians worldwide. Often it's due to this thing called the chytrid fungus. It basically stops frogs from breathing through their skin, and its spread is linked to human travel and climate change. It's devastating. She visits scientists in Central America who are trying to save the last few frogs in these special statuaries. And she also paints this heartbreaking picture of coral reefs bleaching, like on the Great Barrier Reef. Just a small rise in ocean ocean temperature causes the corals to expel the algae they need to survive, turning vibrant reefs into these white, ghostly graveyards. You really feel the loss. And yeah, she travels everywhere for these stories: Panamanian rainforest, bat caves in North America hit by white nose syndrome, the Arctic tundra. She talks directly to the scientists doing the fieldwork, collecting the data that forms this picture, makes it very immediate. And her point is, extinction isn't just losing one species, it's the collapse of interconnected systems. Every loss weakens the whole web of life, often in ways we don't expect. Like pulling threads from a tapestry, as you said, you risk the whole thing unraveling.
That tapestry idea really hits home. So if we're pulling threads this fast, what does Kolbert say this means for how we see ourselves, our power on Earth? It sounds like you're saying it's much bigger than just local environmental issues.
Exactly. That's the core analytical takeaway. Kolbert argues very convincingly that humans have become a geological force.
Right.
That's not just rhetoric. It means our activities, building cities, farming, burning fossil fuels, are changing the Earth on a scale that, until now, you only saw with things like asteroid impacts or massive volcanic periods. These were the only things thought capable of such planet-wide change. And she links this directly to the idea of the Anthropocene. That's the proposed name for a new geological epoch, one where human activity is the dominant influence on climate and the environment. We're literally changing the rocks, the chemistry of the planet, leaving a permanent mark. It fundamentally changes our role from just residents to, well, planet shapers. Wow. That is, humbling is one word for it. Maybe unsettling, too. To think of our species like a planetary force, it totally reframes our relationship with Earth, doesn't it? We're architects now, like it or not.
And recognizing that role, that power, raises some really deep questions which Kolbert forces us to confront. If we are this geological force, what responsibility comes with that? What do we owe the other species we're impacting so profoundly? Is it just bad luck for them? Or do we have some kind of moral duty here? She also highlights the tough choices, like short-term economic benefits versus long-term ecological stability. How do we weigh jobs for logging against the survival of a forest ecosystem? What's the real cost? And then the big one. Can we actually do anything significant? Can conservation or new tech like de-extinction or geoengineering really turn this tide? Or is it too late for some things? She doesn't give easy answers, but she makes sure you grapple with the questions. That's a heavy load to carry, especially if there are no simple fixes presented. So how does she deliver this message? How does Kolbert manage to get this across without sounding preachy or just completely overwhelming people? What makes the book work so well?
I think that's really key to why it won the Pulitzer and resonated so much. It's this fantastic blend of science writing that's really accessible, combined with urgent, almost personal storytelling. She's brilliant at explaining complex stuff, ocean chemistry, population genetics, without using heavy jargon. Anyone can understand it. And her narrative style is crucial. She doesn't lecture. She, as she puts it, takes readers along on a journey. You feel like you're with her, meeting these scientists, seeing these threatened ecosystems. It fuses science, history, travel writing into one compelling story. The book manages this careful balance. It's absolutely serious about the gravity of the situation, but it doesn't feel completely hopeless. It's urgent, but thoughtful. Her goal seems to be more about opening readers' eyes than handing out a list of solutions. She gives you the knowledge, the perspective, and lets you draw your own conclusions about what needs to happen.
Right. So ultimately, it invites you to see yourself and humanity as part of this much larger ecological story, a story whose ending we might actually be writing right now.
Yeah.
It definitely makes you think about your own impact. Okay, so this deep dive into the sixth extinction really brings home humanity's massive, undeniable impact on the planet's life. It's a sobering perspective on where we stand, but also, I think, a necessary one for understanding our time.
I agree. Kolbert's work, through its careful reporting and clear science, really serves as both a warning and a call to humility. It pushes us to recognize the immense destructive power we now hold, and crucially, the huge responsibility that must come with it. It's the kind of knowledge that, once you have it, is pretty hard to shake off.
Absolutely. And maybe that leaves us with a final thought to mull over, building on Kolbert's work. If we truly accept this idea of ourselves not just as passengers, but as a geological force actively shaping the Earth, what kind of world will that force decide to shape? For future generations and for all the incredible diverse life we share this planet with?